just how you can assemble a team, the types, and managing and tools. So first of all, what is remote project management? Project managers use remote project management to link remote and hybrid teams and guarantee that. But first, we'll not actually be looking at everything on the slide. I don't really want to focus on the slides today. So we know that at the beginning of project management, everyone was physically working together, but work management is no longer under one roof, just as we've noticed since 2020. People are now working remotely more than ever. Most of us haven't even heard of something called remote working before the pandemic. Remote teams are hybrid teams and they work in different locations with different tools and skills. But how do project managers keep them collaborating and productive? And remote project management, and it's simply by remote project management and project management software. So that's what we're mostly going to be focusing on today. Traditional project managers don't have to think about the issues of managing a remote crew. And as a result, remote project managers employ online project management solutions to connect people who are geographically separated. Recent events have demonstrated that remote project management may help many industries survive and even grow. So next, we're going to be looking at the benefits. You know that unlike unlike other methodologies, remote project management is flexible. It doesn't follow a rigid set of rules. Viable both traditional and agile approaches. It can even support hybrid work management that unites different styles of work and makes them compatible. We know from this that we have so many persons working on a team. Your team member may not actually be within the same location as you are, but because of tools and collaborative tools and productivity tools, you're actually able to, you're able to do your work at the end of the day while still trying as much as possible to make sure that everybody is on the same page and know what is happening in any given project. So some of the benefits, we have the task management, the cost effective, work-life balance, and reports and feedback. For task management, remote PM tools, I think I'm saying project management too much. It's too much. So remote PM tools let teams take ownership of their work and give managers the transparency to monitor their work without getting in their way. A planning tool can assign them work with detailed description, then the team can manage their backlog and plan sprints. This leads to more empowered teams, and that creates good morale, better retention, and productivity. Most of us are actually remote staff. So if you know that you are actually able to do something like this under task management, I think you're really getting the flow of what remote team is supposed to, do. Now, if you have if you have a remote team, then you're going to save money on office space and utilities. Those savings can go towards growing the business or your team's salary. And speaking of teams, they benefit too. So not only the business benefits, but the teams also. No longer do they have to spend money on commuting, whether that's public transportation or gas, and the normal wear and tear of their cars. So everyone is actually saving when it comes to working remotely. So not just the organization, the business or the company, but those working for those business, organization and company also benefit. For the work-life balance, work as a fully remote team or in a hybrid model can boost morale. A happy team is a productive team. I'm very sure of this because I have actually noticed it firsthand. whatever you work out between management and employees, it's sure to benefit both. Less travel means more time at home with family. This can also help you recruit talent further away than was ever possible. So I know most persons, when they talk about working remotely, they don't really focus on family per se being the reason, but for others, it's more or less a reason to want to work remotely. So as recent events have shown, the benefits of remote project management is that it keeps the lights on. That says, what I mean by that is many businesses were able to continue to stay in business thanks to project management tools that keep them working from home. Important as that is, though, there are other pros to remote project management. We'll be getting further info from that. So how do you benefit also from remote project management? That's reporting and feedback. Project management for remote teams excels in transparency through better reporting on progress and performance. You know that if you're working with a remote team and there is actually no reports, there is no feedback, as a project manager, you get frustrated easily, because if you don't know what is happening, it simply means you don't have better control of a project, and that is actually a bad thing for a project manager. So communication is a two-way street, and feedback from teams is also a powerful way to continuously improve processes. So I would be saying here that we should all endeavor as a team to always report and give feedback, not just for the project managers, but also for ourselves. Because as you give feedbacks, it simply means that you're actually working on what you were told to do. Some project managers actually they'll just give you a task on a project and try to see if really they can actually trust you. That, what I mean by that is they don't ask you about it for a whole day, maybe the second day, and they're asking in the middle of the day, they're asking, okay, since you have not gotten any feedback from you, they definitely have to ask, what is happening? Where are we on this task? Are we done? How did you sort the problem out, or how were you able to do everything needed? So remote collaboration builds stronger bonds, and reporting allows for better decision making. So if there is actually collaboration, you know that you're in the right place, your team is set, they're ready to go. And setting up a project with a remote team requires a different set of tools that would assign tasks, share files, set up deadlines, and track the progress, ideally all within one platform. So some project management tools used by Trello, Pomo, Basecamp. Most of us must have come across mostly Trello, because that's what we focus on in the organization. So that remote that project management tools helps us to actually see all of our tasks, see the deadlines, maybe the files that would be shared concerning a particular task, and it helps us with our progress as we move on in the project. So challenges of working in a virtual team. This is kind of an illustrative diagram that really helps us, like explains what we face working in a virtual team. So you know that 41% never meet their colleagues because they are working from different areas in the world, or different regions in the world. There's different leadership style, lack of participation. There is low speed for decision making, less time for relationships. Basically, 87% do part virtually. Everything they actually have to do is like virtually, your meetings, communication. That's what that statement actually means. So yes, working in the virtual team actually has its benefits, but we're going to be looking at some challenges that businesses also face working with virtual teams. So project management for remote teams is not a magic bullet. There are project management challenges as every other thing, and those beyond project management. So some industries cannot work remotely even if they wanted to, but those that do have the luxury of working outside the structure of an office can still find hurdles regardless of what project management method they work in. So some of those hurdles or challenges are collaboration. While collaboration tools exist to bring individuals together, others argue that collaboration is always better when teams are physically present in the same room. And this argument has been going on since the pandemic. Text, chats, and other communication methods are sometimes lacking in users and might be perplexing. So audio or video conference is a solution, just like we do every day, but it's still not the same as working together face to face, which is in a way true and in a way not so true. But basically, everything on this knowledge development today is supposed to make us see that while working remotely, you don't have to abuse that position you are in. And if you're working not so remotely also, you still have to not actually abuse that position you were in. So collaboration is actually, it's a very significant challenge, and simply solving that is to make sure, like I was saying before, is make sure that feedback when you have an ongoing project, not even just an ongoing project, but day-to-day feedback with your team. You can always collaborate with your team. It's actually advised and encouraged to always collaborate with your team members to make you feel like you don't actually have to be so close together to really vibe together. So efficiency, as you might expect, any benefit of remote project management can also be viewed as a disadvantage. When teams work from home, for example, productivity can drop, distractions exist that do not exist at a workplace, such as dishes, children, and so on. So most persons have actually, argued this also being a form of problem, but this doesn't actually work for everybody the way you say distraction. So distraction only works when you don't actually have a plan. If you have a plan, you will not get distracted. It's just like us picking up, maybe we are on a break, we're actually working fully at the office, you have an hour break. So your hour break, you can decide to eat, rest, or surf the internet. So if you're actually surfing the web, you know that you're taking so much time. You have to kind of draw yourself back, because most of the platforms we engage in it's very catchy. You just want to put yourself all in, and you actually forget the time you're supposed to be using to work, the time you're supposed to be using to relax, and that's just it. So you can always be effective in everything you do if you actually have a plan, if you remember that yes, there's time for everything. And next is the team building. It's simple to form a team, but it's much more difficult to have that team bond and create trust, this is a really serious issue, even when they are physically in the same room. So this doesn't just apply to virtual team members, but also physical team members. You can, yes, it's very easy. You actually have team members everywhere. This person is my team member. Yes, someone new is joining the team. But how easy will it be for everyone to bond together? How easy will it be for everyone to trust each other? That's the thing about team building. When you're not in the same room as your hybrid team or customer, this can be even more tough. Team building is possible, but it may be more difficult and time consuming. That's what this is actually trying to say. So I'll be saying here, I'll advise and I'll plead with everyone that when you are in a team, you actually have to try to give your team member a chance to earn your trust or something, because if there's actually no trust, there is a possibility that you would not be getting basically anything you need at the end of the day. You won't actually get 100% of it. Let me use, for example, the developers. Okay, you have a task. someone has a task to complete something, but they don't have any idea on how to do that. Now, if you are not, if you don't bond with your team members, you find it difficult to ask someone to help you sort out that issue. I am stuck here. What do I need to do? Am I having a sort of bug? How do I fix that bug? You know, something like that. So that's what team building is about. Now, if you have a solid team, everybody trusts each other, everybody's bonding. If there is an issue, it's always going around the team. I have this issue with this task. Can you help me out? This is what I'm facing, this is what I did, or I got maybe an error. How can I do this? Now, not just one person, because everybody is vibing. You know, you're telling somebody. If that person doesn't have an idea, he or she won't actually tell you, okay, go and meet this person. Rather, they'll just call that person and be like, okay, we don't really know how to do this. How can we do this? You know, everybody is learning at the same time. So that's what team building is. And it's really important for remote teams. So we're looking at now, we're going to see how you assemble a remote project team. As sweet as this sentence may be, or this statement may be, it's very difficult to actually, you know, assemble a remote team. But how can we do that? First, you need to know what type of remote structure you're working with. You need to find the best candidates. Of course, you want employees with talents that fits your requirements. Everybody wants that. But you also want people who are strong communicators and respond promptly. That's another thing. So there are most persons that they are so good, but they don't really know how to communicate, and they do not actually respond to, they do not respond to maybe messages or chat easily, and that is actually a problem for remote teams. So you also ensure that your guidelines and expectations are clear, include work hours, check-in frequency, time tracking goals, and who has responsibility over what. So in Baincom, we are asked to check in immediately you're resuming from work. You're supposed to check in by 8 and have your stand up by 9:45 after the knowledge development, 9:45 to probably 10. You have other activities in between the day that you need to do. So everybody knows this is what they need to do. This is what they need to do for their tasks. By so doing, everything is actually moving smoothly, but it won't be so smooth if we don't have strong communicators in our team. So keep in touch with the team via virtual meetings, our morning stand-up, evening stand-up, and then stand-up with project managers and developers working on every ongoing project, chats and other means to keep everyone feeling connected. Some persons feel like this is too much. You have to be in meetings, you have to respond to messages, and you just have to do everything that they are telling you to do. It's so much work, but you also have to see it outside your perspective. And what the company is actually trying to do, not just Baincom, but general, every company, when they actually put in measures to make sure that everything is actually going smoothly. They just want everybody to feel connected. They want everybody to know that they are actually involved in making the organization what it is. Make sure you have a solid channel for direct discussions, announcements, and feedback that everyone uses. Make sure the project team has the necessary collaboration tools so they can work together no matter where they are. Use timesheets and other management tools to keep your team accountable for how much time they spend on projects. So this is something else that project managers actually struggle with. So at the initial stage of a project, a project manager know that this is the time it's supposed to take you to complete a task. But a developer, when given that specific time frame, they're always, let me say 75% of the time, tell you that time frame is too small for them. Now, the problem is they don't actually try to, work with that time, and at the end of the day, see, okay, this is what I was able to do, so I need more time. Rather, they will actually start arguing at that very minute that you're actually giving them the task. And it's like, there is no vibe. You guys are not together. The flow is immediately crushed because you're putting more load on the project manager and you're avoiding your tasks. Now, it may not actually affect you, because you're just a developer. So you are just being asked to do stuff. But the project manager who knows that he or she has to still report to several persons, the stakeholders involved in that project, know that with you always, giving complaints and not really trying at first, it's not going to really, it's not going to really be good when you're actually assembling a remote project team. So next, we're going to discuss the types of remote project teams. Yes, we normally mention just two types, remote and virtual, or we say virtual and then physical. So there are various types of remote teams. You have to decide which fits your company culture and meets your employees' needs. In general, there are three types of remote project teams, and there are as follows. Oh my God, I think I stopped sharing. Okay, give me a minute. I think I stopped sharing my screen. All right. So first we have the fully automated. A fully remote team, as the name implies, is one in which everyone works from home or from different offices around the region or even in different time zones. For hybrid teams, a hybrid team is one in which members are dispersed, with some working in an office together and others working from home or separate offices. And then for flexible remote teams, flexible or flex teams can operate from home, the office, or a co-located facility, depending on an agreement reached between them and management. So I know that from discussing this tree, we actually know where we find ourselves. So most of us are fully automated, most are hybrid, most are flexible. So how to manage a remote team? Now, if you're having so much difficulty managing a remote team, I think this is really, really, really for you. The first step is to gather the remote teams for a meeting and set clear expectations for when it comes to project planning. So hopefully you have employed people who can manage themselves while working remotely, because everybody wants someone who can actually do that, can do their job really, really well. They just need, I think it's called micromanaging. So you just need little management of you as an employee. But nevertheless, everyone needs to understand their jobs and responsibilities. AROACI metrics can be beneficial. This is for project managers. I think let me just explain it more of them. So ARACI matrix is actually a chart that identifies and defines the roles and responsibilities of team members in relation to tasks in a project. So the ROACI actually stands for responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. So most project managers actually use this metrics chart, but most of them don't. Everything just has to do with what really suits you well. So check-in should be the first thing you do each day. You check in so everybody will know that yes, you're working, you're here. People can describe what they have done and what they want to do in the coming days. That's what we do in our morning stand-up. What did you do yesterday? What are your plans for today? Do you have any challenge? So all of those things we do, there is actually a need for them. This is a good moment to double check that everyone knows their responsibilities. Although all channels of communication should be kept open, a daily stand-up meeting is a smart place to start. So we are actually we're on the right track. While you want self-starters, team players, and self-managing team members, the project team requires methods to manage work and maintain high productivity. It doesn't matter which approach you favor or which is best for the project, just make sure everyone on the team understands what it is, how it works, and how often they should update their status. So this is it. This line also comes back to team building. So you have a new team member, and the person is new. They don't actually understand the system yet. They're still learning. They're still trying to know what to do, where to do what, when to do what. So he or she is your team member. The only thing you have to do is you can actually help out, make that person feel included. You know, they don't actually know everything that's happening. You can always, if you have a problem, you know, hello, if you have a problem, you can always ask me. I'm happy to help. It can be something as simple as, okay, how do I check in? Is there a format for checking in? It's very simple, but we know that we have a format for checking in the organization. So you helping for something as little as that, the person knows that, okay, I can trust this person. I know that, yes, this person doesn't want me to fail in the organization. We are really a team. So that's what that's really talking about. So you would want to provide assistance to your remote teams. Team members can feel isolated and abandoned when there is no frequent face-to-face interaction, such as in an office. So we do this. This actually helps. What we do in the organization to take care of this is our weekly team bonding. So this results in low morale and dissatisfied team members. But with team bonding, you know that, yes, people actually, you know, communicate. Sometimes we don't even know that, okay, we have this person in maybe the graphic design team or the digital marketing team. But during team bonding, you see everyone, you know, you get to know these are the new persons, these are the old persons, more persons are still coming. And then finally, you need a hybrid work application links teams regardless of their location, skill level, or department, allowing them to collaborate and use the tools they need to get their tasks done. Okay, so I think I'm running out of time. Let's try to run through remote project management tools. So we have Slack, Trello, GitHub. Slack we use in the organizations. It's for everybody, developers, non-developers. Trello, we use that for collaboration. And for GitHub, this is mostly used by the developers, which we know. And okay, we know. So most of us don't really understand how GitHub works, except the developers, or maybe you've come across it for once or something like that. So in summary, some project management recommendations to keep in mind are that you must be transparent when outlining the project objective and the procedures you'll be employing, regardless of whether you go entirely remote or hybrid. This helps encourage teams by keeping them on the same page as you when the agenda for the forthcoming work day is clearly outlined. So it doesn't hurt to start each day with a stand-up meeting. So if you miss your stand-up, you're not doing the right thing. Your day has not started, basically. You really need to always be available for your stand-up. So thank you, everybody. If you have your question, this is the right time to ask. Please keep them coming. If you don't have any question, you can say no questions and I can just ask mine. I just have 4 minutes.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. I think I have 2 questions actually.
Okay.
The first question is, why do you people like from project side like using graphics team as an example?
Oh, I'm sorry, but I don't think we always do that. If we do, my apologies for that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But, so okay. The second question is, yeah, you're talking about giving a developer time. I'm not a developer, but I know I have brother that works there, so I know how it is. You're saying that when you give a time frame for a developer get something done, and they said this can be done in this particular time. Yeah, I mean, I feel you are giving them, they are the one that knows what they want to do. For example, when you say a client gave you a job, I'm pretty sure when they give you a time frame, if you can't meet up with time frame, you will tell the client that I'm sorry, this time frame is not gonna be you guys will not be able to meet up with this time frame. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, doesn't that apply to a developer to like, okay, they're the one that they are doing what they are doing? You know, I heard a lot about debugging. I heard a lot about that. It's kind of crazy that some of themselves, they don't really know how to, as in, when they are trying to debug something, it might be in the middle of the night when they are sleeping that they just remembered how to go about it. I mean, I feel it's their job. basically, yeah, when they say this time frame cannot be met, I feel like there should be a way to, come to agree on something, and or not like when you like, you have to meet up with this time frame because that's the time frame I'm giving you. You obviously don't know what they will go through. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes. So
Okay, so
okay, so an answer to your question, a way to meet in the middle ground, a way to get everybody in the middle ground is the developer says, okay, this time is not going to be enough for me. Yes, the project manager is going to argue that you can do that within that time frame. So the only thing you need to do is start working on it. If you don't actually finish within time frame, the project manager comes back, okay, how far are you done? You say this is what you've been able to do within that time frame because you have also stated that the time is not going to be enough. So the project manager sees that you are working on the tax. They know that, okay, fine, yes, it was not enough. How much time do you need left? So now they're giving you a choice. So that's how it works. First, they need to trust you. That's it. Project managers hardly trust developers because they know they lie a lot. I'm sorry, developers, but if you can actually prove to them that you guys are a team because you're on their team, if you can prove to them that they can trust you, you can actually do the work that is being left on your decks, they're going to actually let you work. Do your thing, just give me feedback. That's all.
All right, sorry, can I ask something?
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of dicey when you go through that lane. Thank you for what you said. On your own part, when you just say it is easy to actually give out a task to be done, but it is not easy to run. For example, you are writing a mobile application code where you're going to write over 2,000 code or 5,000 code as the case may be, and then maybe line 50 somewhere is where the error actually came from. That required patience, and project managers, because they don't know what you're going through, they are just on your head. Even some of that disturbances tends to be another problem that you needed to solve. And then they are trying to tell you how much time in a situation where you don't know what to do next. You're thinking this is a brain something that you are trying to solve, and then you just like, can you give me time? And they are not ready to understand. Do you get the logic here? I was once a project manager. I was once a project manager in a place, and I understood something. When anytime I was a programmer, though I was not like their Jacobs and then the mobile app, but then I was writing my little Python and what have you. And I still remember that if I give somebody a task, and then the person say like, okay, I'll just let me know where you've gotten to. And then, okay, I understand where to go. This should be done in a week's time or in 2 weeks' time or this or tomorrow. That's because I have an idea. So how about a project manager in a field that is related to his field and this thing? They have an idea, because if you just say a project manager, maybe for you and a project manager maybe in Beacon, and then you're giving, you're asking a mobile app developer like Jacob, for example, to talk about something in less than 10 minutes, and you're giving him like, okay, I'm giving you 1 hour to bring out something. You don't know about the debugging. You don't have an idea about what it takes to debug. You don't have the idea of how to test run something. And then you're complaining you need it done. How do you sort that?
Okay, just like I said to this first speaker, every project team has to work based on trust. If there is trust, the amount of time needed is not going to be an issue. Yes, I know that lots of project managers do not have an idea of how coding and bugging and writing code works, but you can actually teach them as as you give your feedback. This is what I've done so far. Maybe they don't actually understand what you're saying, but you actually explaining in detail will give them an idea of what you're working on and what you're doing. So that would actually
the person is better. Patient, right? That's if the person is patient and ready to listen. What if the person is not ready to say, all he or she knows is time. Give me before so date. It must be done, delivered today. How do you sort that? When somebody is telling you it must be done, delivered today.
Mr. Peter Kings, let me come in, please. For my own angle, what I see there is that there should, just like Victor said, a middle ground. But on the aspect of project management manager, as you meet with your client, from my own angle, what I think that so that project manager and the developer ought to form a team. And in a team, there should be trust. And in order, the project manager should have enough soft skill to communicate that trust and engender that trust in the team. If you come with the notion that developers are liars, what would happen? Definitely, the perception will be in such a way when you are in a team, it will affect the way you manage that team. But if you are looking at that, you are in a team, you are in the same team with the developer, and also you are showing the client that I'm with you also. Now, for the client to say, okay, how many days will it take me to finish this? You would have concluded with your developer first to decide how many days the developers would have taken to finish it. Now, if the developer is saying 2 weeks, okay, you tell the client, can we go 3 weeks or 3.5? And when you come back to the developer, say, okay, developer, based on this, can we adjust to 1 week? Okay, the developer will look at it and negotiate it. So, okay, let's work with it. But actually, what you negotiated with the client, the weeks is actually 3.5 or so. But what you are negotiating with the developer on a mutual ground is about 1 week. So we place you as a project manager on a safe ground. When the developer spills over the 1 week, you will be able to kind of put more pressure on him based on you received the duration, the timeline from him. Then he will be obliged, and knowing that he disappointed the first one, he wouldn't want to disappoint the second one. So when you are setting extra 3 days plus the 1 week the developer have given you earlier, giving extra 3 days, he will see that he needs to buckle up so that he'll be able to meet up, so that he will not disappoint you and feel bad. Because when a developer disappoints and could not meet the timeline, he feels bad as well. Even though maybe some of them may use both face to do whatever another, but all of us know that missing a deadline is not okay. So that is what I see there. To be able to, the project manager to be able to manage the client, manage the developer, and communicate trust, communicate confidence, and also everybody's happy at the end of the day. So that is what I look at it. I don't know whether it helps anyway.
Sure.
All right, thank you very much, Jacob, for that detailed explanation. I don't know if we still have time for me to ask my questions. We're already out of time. I would actually need the feedback from Benjamin or Jacob. Do I still have time to ask my question?
You can ask just one, so that you can just end up.
Okay, so my first question is, okay, as a remote or hybrid staff, what is your greatest challenge? So anybody can answer.